Hello everyone, how's it going, and welcome back to another Wild Rift video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the official patch notes for 3.3a. This patch will be going live tomorrow in the UK, and it's going to be a very exciting patch. I'm really looking forward to this patch. And one new champion that's coming out this patch as well, it's coming out on Friday, is Kassadin. Kassadin is a mid lane assassin. He struggles a lot during the early laning phases because he is a melee champion, but when he scales, when he gets a few items, he normally likes to buy Rod of Ages, Serap's Embrace, get a lot of mana. He can dash multiple times with his ultimate and do so much damage. Probably one of the most annoying champions to deal with as an AD carry main myself, but be on the lookout for a casting guide when he gets released on day one. Subscribe to the channel for more Wild Rift content. So that is Kassadin. Now, we got a Kassadin event as well that's going to be coming out. We've got a pool party event, which is a skin line, which will be coming out on the 12th of August, which is very exciting. Right, let's take a look at the changes. Now, we saw a little bit of a preview of the changes before in the patch preview, which came out on Friday. So we're going to be seeing if there's any changes to the patch notes that they did previously, because obviously that's not the official patch notes. That's just like a little bit of a preview. First off, we got Draven. His bonus AD ratio on his spinning axe, so his first ability, is going down by 10% every rank, and I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same. So exactly the same as what we saw on Friday. So this is gonna hurt Draven a little bit with his first ability. Draven does do a lot of damage at the moment. Not only does he have one of the highest base AD ratios on any AD carry at the moment in the game, his early game is super strong. He can scale well into mid and late game if he gets a few kills with his passive as well, gets a few items. He's a really annoying champion to deal with. I'm quite happy, to be fair, because I don't play Draven that much, and I'm quite happy that he's getting nerfed because he is an annoying champion to deal with, and I don't really like playing against him, to be fair, because his early game is just super obnoxious. When you play against a good Draven, shout out to Doom, who's a very good Draven player. It's so hard to deal with. It's so hard to deal with a champion that has so much AD damage during the early game. So they're just nerfing him a little bit. He is still a difficult champion to play, a difficult champion to master, because you have to make sure you keep on catching your spinning axes to be able to get the bonus AD ratio with your spinning axes on the first ability. So that's Draven. Moving down on to Ekko. So Ekko's been really strong during the jungle, but he hasn't been that strong in the mid lane, so they're kind of balancing him out a little bit. The bonus damage to monsters is going down on his passive from 150% to 120%. I don't think this will do too much to the jungle Ekko. I still think jungle Ekko is still going to be really strong. It's still going to be really good just because his ganks are really good. He scales well into the mid and late game. He's still a really strong champion overall. And then lowering the cost of the first ability, Time Winder. This will help his wave clear a lot during the mid lane. It means he can use it more during the laning phase as well. Really nice. I really like that they are reducing the mana of Time Winder. Moving on to Jayce. Now, they say here, Jayce hasn't performed that well outside of higher levels of play. So they're basically buffing him for lower levels of play, but it's kind of scary because I still feel like Jayce is in a pretty decent spot. It's a little bit awkward now because, I mean, Conqueror doesn't really work too well for him, but Conqueror is kind of the only rune that you can run with him. And also his build is a little bit awkward. You still can go for Hullbreaker, but you know, he doesn't get the bonus effects from range form anymore. It only gets his, you know, the full effect of Hullbreaker in melee form. So range form, Jayce has obviously been nerfed with Hullbreaker. So now it's like, do you go back to the Manimune build? Do you go like Black Cleaver? His build is a little bit all over the place. So maybe, you know, people don't really understand that, and maybe they're just struggling a little bit with Jayce. So yeah, attack damage ratio going up on the first ability in both melee and range form. So just letting that scale a little bit more with attack damage. So again, it might be like the Manimune Black Cleaver build that you go for, or maybe Ghostblade. Ghostblade was really good on Jayce before, so maybe it is that. Buffing Pyke again, the health growth. So this is basically the health per level. So with Pyke, with his passive, his bonus health that he builds from items gets converted into AD damage. So basically the only way that Pyke can gain health is with this stat, the health growth. So they were thinking that Pyke was a little bit too squishy, so they're giving him extra 10 health per level, so it's 150 health at maximum level, which is quite nice. The passive, the grey health storage, when two or more enemy champions are nearby, is going from 35 to 45% damage. So now 45% of the damage taken when you're near two or more nearby enemy champions is going up, meaning that you can back off, you can use your second ability, go invisible, and heal up a lot more health from your passive. So it's quite nice. And also the third ability, you deal 25% damage to minion monsters. This still doesn't make sense because it still says the exact same thing as well. It deals 25% damage to me. I think this is 25% of the Phantom Undertow's damage. So I think this is a nerf to the third ability for minions and monsters, because we saw that mid lane Pyke was getting played a little bit because you can use your third ability to clear minion waves quite quickly. That on top of the first ability as well. So they're nerfing the third ability, I believe, because it says deals 25% damage to minions and monsters. So I believe it's a nerf to the third ability just to stop mid lane Pykes from being played. Ultimate still description has been modified to provide better clarification of the cut granted to Pykes and his allies. Cool. Happy days, I guess. Doesn't change anything at all. Cool. Renekton. Renekton's being buffed. Renekton hasn't been strong for a while now, to be honest with you. I think Renekton might be quite strong now because he's getting a buff, and also some of the other items to other champions are getting nerfed, which means that Renekton might come back into play. We'll have to see. I believe these changes are still the exact same as well. Call the Meek, the first ability, healing bonus, AD ratio per enemy hit is going from 8% to 10%. And then you got Ruthless Predator, which Ruthless Predator before, it was just showing the normal, so the base damage per strike. But now we can see the normal total base damage and now the enhanced total base damage. So this is the total damage that you get, like, when you use the second ability. So when you use the second ability, it attacks multiple times. So this is the base damage per strike, which is getting buffed by 5, 10, and 15. So it's getting buffed a lot during the late game, which means that in the late game, the normal total base damage is going up by 30, and the enhanced version is going up by, what's that, 45? So it's quite a big buff during the late game for Renekton. It means that his single target burst damage is going to go up by quite a lot. Blade Rune King is still really good on Renekton. Black Cleaver will still be good on Renekton. This means that you get the stacks of Black Cleaver much quicker. You proc Blade Rune King as well, so you're going to be dealing bonus damage. So honestly, Renekton's single target damage is going to be very, very high in the next patch. I think I'm definitely going to give him a try to see what he's like. Definitely going to be very, very strong. Senna is getting nerfed. The base attack speed growth is going down. I think this was fair. I did play Senna recently with Star Guardian Senna. When you do scale into the mid and late game, when you do get a few levels, your attack speed becomes so high, even without building any attack speed items. And obviously, if you build attack speed items on top of that, it becomes even stronger. So I think this is a completely fair nerf. And also the passive as well. So your current health damage is going down from 1.6 to 16% to now 1.2 to 12%. So not that much of a nerf in the early game, but definitely a nerf when you reach level 10. 4% down on damage now when you reach level 10. Senna was strong for a very, very long time. Always has been strong in pro play and even in solo queue as well. Senna you just play passive, you scale, you get a few items, and she becomes really, really strong. So no surprise really that Senna is getting nerfed. Shen, we've got the shield on the passive, which is going down. Shen is a bit of an interesting one. I feel like they just don't really like tanks in the meta. I don't really know. Like Malphite is not really that strong. Mundo's not really that strong at the moment. Shen is obviously getting nerfed. I feel like they're still going towards this whole bruiser meta because the champions are just more exciting to watch. You know, you like to watch Camille, you like to play Camille, Fiora, Set, all these sort of champions that you like to play, you know, bruises up in the barrel lane. I think they're moving towards that. But they're nerfing Shen. I mean, Shen was kind of strong. I don't think he was that strong, to be honest with you. I don't think he was needing a nerf. But anyway, the passive shield has gone down on... this is basically like per level. So you get like 60 to 109 depending on level. So now it's gone from 51 to 100 depending on level. So you're basically losing 9 shield. It's not that much. 9 damage is 9 damage. It's not really too much. And then the enhanced maximum health ratio has gone from, it's gone basically down by 5% at every single rank. So this is basically when your first ability goes through a champion or through an enemy champion, you basically dealt enhanced maximum health ratio, like health damage. That's basically just gone down. So yeah, bit of an interesting nerf to Shen, but anyways, it is what it is. Sona, I think this is a completely fair nerf. I think when they changed her shield before, they basically buffed her shield, but they lowered her healing. But the thing is that the heal only affects 2 allies, but the shield affects everyone around you. And that buff was a little bit too much. So yeah, the shielding has gone down on Sona, so making sure that you can't shield as much. I think 30 shield is a little bit, it's quite a lot, obviously, during a late game. But again, you still build like Seraph Embrace, Staff of Flowing Water, Ardent Censer. So this is still going to enhance your shielding. So even though you're losing 30 shielding, you're still going to get a lot more shielding from the items that you'll be building. So I still think Sona will be completely fine. And then the ultimate as well, the basic ability cooldown reduction, 10, 25, 40 is now gone to 10, 20, and 30. So it's basically when you level up your ultimate, you get a passive, which basically reduces a cooldown on all your basic abilities. So first, second, and third ability. So that's basically going to get reduced, which is quite nice. Soraka getting nerfed is a bit of an interesting one. The base healing is going down, so it means it's going to affect her early game by quite a lot. Also, then you got the 40% ability power ratio, which is going up to 45%. So that means that the more AP Soraka builds, the stronger the ultimate will become, but you are losing 50 base healing now. So yeah, a little bit of a hit during the early game. I think during the later stages of the game, when you get more ability power, I don't think this 50 base healing will mean too much, because you'll get enough ability power anyway. But level 1 is staying exactly the same. Level 2 is staying is going down by 25, and then you're losing 50 at maximum level of your ultimate. So yeah, the early game might even be a buff, to be fair, actually. Sorry, I think I completely misread this entirely. The early game might be a little bit of a buff, depending on how much AP you can get during the early game. The base healing is staying exactly the same at level 5. At level 10, it's going down by 25. At level 15, it's going down by 50. So maybe it's not too much, because the ability power that you get during the, through the build, I'm not too sure if that 5% extra ability power is going to compensate the 50 base healing on the ultimate. But yeah, early game, a little bit of a buff, I guess. Not too much, because you won't be building that much ability power. But as you get to level 10, level 15, the base healing goes down, but the bonus AP goes up. So some few interesting changes to Soraka there. Yasuo as well. The shield on the passive is going down at later stages of the game, and also the shield duration is going down. I think the shield duration is fine. I think 2 seconds was way too long anyway, and the shield duration going down. Happy days. Another champion that I hate as an AD carry, so happy days that Yasuo is getting nerfed again. These are probably some of the biggest changes of this patch, is all of these item changes, all of the bruiser item changes, really. You have Black Cleaver, which is getting nerfed. Per stack is going from 5 to 4, and now you have to get a stack up to 6 times instead of 5 times to reach a maximum. So basically you can go from 5 to 25, but now you have to go like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So now you lose 1% at maximum stacks, and it also takes you an extra attack now to get to maximum stacks. So a pretty big nerf to Black Cleaver, but I still feel like, just because of the base stats that Black Cleaver gets, and also because of how cheap the item is, I think it's still really, really strong. I think it still will be very, very strong. Death Stance, the maximum healing is going down. I think this is completely fair, because the healing at the moment also works with Triumph. So Triumph plus Death Stance is a really, really disgusting combo at the moment, because you get healing from Death Stance and you also get healing from Triumph. So a little bit disgusting. So I think the maximum health healing going down is very, very nice, and I think it's a very nice change, especially because the maximum health was also working with, Black Cleaver gives health, Divine Sunderer gives health. So building Death Stance was kind of a go-to item, because of how much healing you get, and also because of how strong AD bruisers are at the moment. Most of the time you need the armor, and it was by far the best AD armor item in the game, and I think it still will be as well. Divine Sunderer going up by 150 gold. This means that most of the time now you won't be able to build Divine Sunderer as a first item before the first dragon. You might get lucky if you get a few plates maybe, and if you're able to get maybe a kill or two, then you can get Divine Sunderer before first dragon. But I think if it's a complete stalemate, if you're just farming in a laning phase, then I think that you won't be able to get this before first dragon. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to test it out to see, but I think even 3,300 gold was quite a lot during the early game to try and get Divine Sunderer before first dragon. But now it's going up by 150, might be even more. They say bring it more in line with Trinity Force. It's still cheaper than Trinity Force, if I'm not mistaken, so I think Divine Sunderer will still get built. And then changes to Staff of Flowing Water. So they increase in the buff duration. from 4 seconds to 6 seconds, and the ability haste granted is going from 20 to 15. I think this is quite a nice change for Starfall Foam Water. I honestly feel like it will still be strong as well. I think the buff duration going up is very, very interesting. Ability haste going down by 5 is fair, because 20 ability haste is a lot, to be honest with you. Basically like having a free Hunter Genius basically given to your or fully stacked, sorry, Hunter Genius given to your AD carry or to basically any champion on your team. It going down by 5 is fair, but the buff duration going up is quite a nice one, to be fair. They're kind of balancing it out a little bit, making sure that it doesn't get completely destroyed. Yeah, I think it's pretty good, to be fair. I think it's pretty good. I think 6 seconds now, having 15 ability haste, and also you get ability power as well. Even though they want to nerf it, this is a fair nerf, but also this is a fair buff, so it's kind of like an adjustment in a way. So quite nice. And then also buffing Scorch. I feel like was really, really weak anyway, and I still feel like it will be really, really weak. I don't think it will do that much, to be fair, because just early game runes just don't really come into effect, because like team fights are so important. The mid and late game is super important, and that's kind of where Scorch kind of struggles, is during the mid and late game. Like you can just go Triumph instead, Gathering Storm, I don't know, Hunted Vampirism as well. Like there's so many other runes that are better than Scorch right now, which is kind of a little bit of a struggle. But anyway, they're buffing it, so hopefully some champions will be able to build it. And then we have some skins. We got Harbinger Kassadin, we got Warring Kingdoms Draven and Katarina coming, Godfist Lee Sin, which is a very, very cool looking skin. And then we have the pool party skins, Caitlyn, Dotamundo, Grays, Ziggs, a lot of cool skins coming out. And then we got some few accessories as well. Nice little water gun, Kassadin emote. I think there's like a pool party recall there. And I think that's Caitlyn as well. Caitlyn emote, which actually looks pretty cool. So I might give that a try. And then you have your free champions for the next few weeks. Yeah, that's everything for patch 3.3a. Very, very similar to the preview that we got last week. But yeah, this patch will be going live tomorrow, so I will be streaming. I will be testing out everything, seeing how things are. I might play Renekton as well. I think Renekton is going to be a very, very interesting one to play. Maybe play Draven. I highly doubt it. We'll see how things go. But yeah, thank you all for tuning into the video. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you subscribe for more Wild Rift content. Keep your eyes peeled for the casting guide as well, as soon as he releases on the 29th of July. But yeah, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Peace.